What if I told you if you can focus on one Windows Event ID and identify evil? Wouldn't that be amazing? In today's Tool or Tip Thursday video, I want to share with you a tip that will help you in your investigations. Windows Event IDs. There are so many IDs, and trust me, nobody's gonna expect you to remember them all. But you must know what are they and where can you find more information on these IDs. For those that are not too familiar with what Windows Event IDs are, essentially Event IDs are identifiers for a particular event in which they exist in different log files. But do keep in mind that some event IDs may cross over and not mean the same thing. So in other words, one event log may have an event ID 1, for example, and a second event log will have the same event ID 1, but they don't mean the same thing. This is why it is extremely important that when you are communicating with others about event IDs, you mention exactly where you're looking at. So if I was communicating a finding that I had in my investigations, I would say, hey, go ahead and check out this event ID 4624 under the security event log. In that example, I specifically mentioned the event ID 4624 under the event log security. By doing this, there shouldn't be any confusion. Alright, now I want to introduce you the most bang for your buck Windows Event ID under the security log, Event ID 4688. Keep in mind that this event ID is not enabled by default, and since a lot of organizations tend to have default configurations, in those cases, you'll likely not have that information, unfortunately. So what is Event ID 4688 under security log? Well, this event ID will log all of the processes, including your parent process as well as your child process, and will include a bunch of different information extremely valuable for your investigation. However, there is another caveat, and that is there is a certain field within this event ID 4688 called process command line. This field will show you the command line if configured properly, and again, help you with that investigation and identify evil really quickly. But another note on this event ID is that it's extremely noisy, which is why it's not enabled by default. But there are times that organizations do enable it and configure it properly, and when that happens, you are good to go. But you might ask, what if I have Sysmon installed or maybe even an EDR solution? Well, in that case, you can go ahead and exit this video. But seriously, Sysmon or an EDR solution on that machine will capture this information regardless. But let's just say in this scenario, the organization doesn't have Sysmon installed, it doesn't have an EDR configured, but it does have the event 4688 under security enabled and configured properly, which is rare, but let's just say that is the case. Over to our lab machine, the first thing we want to do is enable the process ID 4688. And in order to do that, we need to edit the local group policy on this machine. And do keep in mind that in an enterprise environment, we would likely be pushing this configuration to multiple machines via GPO update and not one by one like I'm showing you today. So let's hit the Windows key and start typing in edit group policy. What we want to look at now is the Windows setting under computer configuration. So we'll go ahead and expand that and expand security settings. And then we want to look at advanced audit policy configuration. So let's go ahead and click on that, expand it, keep on expanding. And now we're interested in detail tracking. So if we click on detail tracking, and I'll move this a bit, we can see that there's a subcategory called audit process creation. And this is the one that we're interested in. So we go ahead and double click that. It actually gives you a nice little explanation as to what exactly this event entails. However, we can go back to policy and make sure that we enable it by clicking configure the following audit events and then select success. We can do failure if you want, but in this case, we're just going to go ahead with success as that will be enough. Go ahead and hit apply, hit OK, exit that out. And now 4688 should be enabled. So what we can do is start typing in commands on PowerShell, for example. So let's go ahead and open up PowerShell. And what does a threat actor typically do? Let's see. They type in who am I, ipconfig, net user, net local group. And I think that's good enough. Let's go ahead and take a look at the event viewer, and that is where we can see all of the events that this computer had generated. We hit the Windows key again, type in event viewer. These are all the log files that you see on the left-hand side. They're all categorized. Under Windows logs, you'll have the three main ones that we typically look at, and they are application, security, and system. Now, application will involve a lot of the log information pertaining to applications, whereas security will do anything with security, and system, it will talk about your system. So for example, if a service had stopped or if a computer was rebooted / shut down, you'll see it here. Now, if we go into security, we're interested in 4688. This is the first time seeing Event Viewer. It can look a little intimidating because there's a bunch of information, but generally what you want to look at is the time itself, obviously making sure you're in the correct event log, and then you want to look at the event ID. So in this case, 4688. So this is the one that we're interested in. And this is the task category, so process creation. And then at the bottom here, we got our information itself. Now, in Event Viewer, it's probably not the best tool to take a look at these events. However, it is a native tool to Windows, so that is why I am using it right now. In the future videos, I will show you some of the tools that we can use to take a look at these event IDs that much better. Let's go ahead and hit filter current log. I might be filtered by 4688, but I am not. We have a choice of filtering it by time. In this case, it's set to any time, which is fine. We have the event levels, the criticality levels. In this case, it's okay if we don't select any of them. What we're interested in is the all event IDs. So we want to be specific and look exactly at 4688. So I'll go ahead and type in 4688, hit OK. And now my event viewer should refresh with all 4688 events. Now, if you recall earlier, I did type in a bunch of commands under PowerShell. So let's go ahead and try finding those. So this is the event of interest here. Looking at the bottom, we can see that the creator process name is PowerShell, which was correct. I did run PowerShell. And then the new process name is net. So if you recalled, I used net local group and also net user. However, there is a key piece of information that's missing in this event, and that is the user or local group aspect of it. Looking at the event, we can only see that it said net and nothing else. So me as an investigator, I know for a fact that PowerShell was executed with the net command, but I don't know exactly what was executed with net, if that makes sense. Which leads me to the next point, and that is making sure that our process command line right here is enabled. And again, if you recall, this is disabled by default, which is why we cannot see it here. So let's go ahead and start enabling that. To do that, we just head over back to our edit group policy and then click on administrative templates under computer configuration, go under system. From there, you can see audit process creation. So let's go ahead and click on that. And now we have this setting called include command line and process creation events. Double click that. Gives you a nice little help page there. And we want to enable that. Hit apply, hit OK. Now let's exit out of that. And let's redo our demo again. In this case, I'll hit clear. And now I'll type in net user and net local group. And just for fun, let's just type net I am a hacker. Of course, that's not going to work, but hey, it should capture it. We hop back over to our event viewer. We see that, hey, there's new events available at the top. So we can right click the security log and click on refresh. Now that we refreshed it, immediately you can see at the bottom in the events, a new process has been created. And now you actually see, whoa, net, I am a hacker. So let's scroll down a bit to the next event here and look at that. We see creator process name PowerShell, which is correct. Again, we did use PowerShell, yeah. Now we see net, yeah, okay, perfect. But when we go down to process command line, we can actually see net, I am a hacker. So as an investigator now, I have even more context for my investigations. How beautiful is this event ID? I'm telling you, if you have this, you can identify evil within your environment if you know what you're looking for. And I want to leave you with one last tip. There is a website that I tend to reference quite a bit. And if you type in 4624, for example, Event ID, there's a site down here called Ultimate Windows Security. This site will help you tremendously in your investigations when you're dealing with event IDs. There are a lot of event IDs that exist and nobody's going to expect you to remember them all. So this website is very nice to reference. Let's just say you don't know exactly what 4624 means. It tells you here that it's an account was successfully logged on. If you scroll down, you'll actually see how the event is broken down. And it also includes some of the more important fields that may exist in a certain event. For example, event ID 4624 under the security log with a logon type 10 is remote interactive, also known as remote desktop. Scrolling back up, if you have an event ID of interest, you can go ahead and type it in here. Now do keep in mind that this site focuses only on the security log, as you can see at the top. There's a security log, let's just say 4625, something that you encounter in your events. Click on go, and then it'll tell you that, hey, 4625 is an account failed to log on. So if you scroll down, look at the field names of interest, you see a substatus of 0064. It just simply means the username does not exist. You see 6A, username is correct, but the password is wrong. Please bookmark this site. Use it for all your investigations, especially when you're handling Windows events, because this will help you tremendously. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, let me know by hitting that like button and subscribe if you want to.